Maybe you've noticed this class is hard. Holy smokes, there's a lot of cool little tricks. Daphne just tracked on another one. Thank you, Daphne. This is awesome. I want to just demonstrate how you take an asset from Illustrator, a 3D asset that you made, and bring it into Stager as a 3D object. It's a tricky trick, but it's very cool. I'm sharing my screen. We are going to go through it. Doink, doink. I'm going to go to Illustrator first of all. Now, we did this before. You know that if you said, I want to make a wine glass like this, I would have to start with a shape that's basically sliced in half and sliced in half, those two axes. And it starts drawing it from the left side. So I want to think about that being open right here on the left. And so there's my shape that I've got drawn. And I'm going to take that and come up to the Effect 3D Materials and revolve that. Voip, and it says that's what you got. So I've made a 3D object out of it. As you know, I can mess with things like rotation and view and all kinds of other stuff inside here. I don't care very much about that. I've got most of that stuff available to me in Stager. But now I've got a way to make a 3D object in here and export it. So let me show you how to do that. It's a different window. We haven't played with it before. I didn't even know it was here. Asset export. Maybe they just added it. I don't know. But it's asset exports under the window menu like everything else in the whole Adobe universe. Go to the asset export window and just say, I want this in my window. Doinkity doink. And it adds it right there. Now here's the tricky part. What I've got to be able to do is export this as an OBJ file. That's the thing that makes it work. PNG, as you well know, is a raster file, as is JPEG, SVG, scalable vector graphic, PDF, you know what a PDF is. OBJ is a 3D format, so it knows that if I save it as OBJ, it's a 3D object. So OBJ, I'm going to export that to my desktop. Sure, go there and it says replace that one with the new one because I just did it to make sure it works. And now I come back and now I've got that saved. It's in my desktop window. If I click on my desktop, I've got a new OBJ folder with asset5.obj. That's the chalice that I just made. Now I come back to Stager and say in here, you know what this really needs? This needs a chalice. I'm going to go to my import 3D model, just like we did with the SketchUp files. And inside my OBJ folder on my desktop is my new asset 5 OBJ. It says, do you want to generate UVs? UVs are the map that it uses to wrap materials around a 3D object. The answer is always yes. I do want you to generate UVs. And it says, here it is. And you might say, where is it? Well, it's tiny. There it is right there. So I'm going to use my scale tool here, blow that up, hold down the shift key to make sure that it stays constrained. And I'm also going to pull that up a little bit because it's kind of stuck on the ground. There we go. And now I can do fun things like add in materials and say I'd kind of like that to be filled with porcelain, satin fabric, milk, water, beer. You gotta love beer. So there's beer. It doesn't look like anything until I turn on ray tracing, and then it starts to look pretty swanky. So that's a great way to make things in Illustrator and build them as a 3D object, export them out using the asset export window OBJ file. As you can see already, this thing is going to look like $1,000,000. It's just going to take about 20 minutes to render because it's got to bounce all that light around because of this clear shape. But pretty spectacular. Hope you thought that was cool because I don't know about you. My head's already knocked off. See you later.